series in a row for you and me on the D stream, and I mean, I'm ready to see some Dota. That's what the D stands for. And I mean, going into this, Thunder, they had a great day one. Good one as well. I believe both of them finished up day one 3-1, but Thunder not too good of a start to today. 0-2, I believe, and Spirit actually went 1-1.
Tes. 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 Tes.
Moment. Both supports more than likely picked up. Of course, the Marcy can be flexed, but
get a ban.
the moment they don't have a way to address the Enigma with a BKB piercing kind of spell, so late game Enigma is going to be a bit of an issue. And
I was going to call that.
Sorry.
I was going to,
Sorry,
as soon as I was like,
the BKB PC.
Seeker would have been fantastic, right? Both for the Pango ban
5
plus pairing
seconds
together with the
remaining.
Bane. Allow you to be able to be the ones to get the jump, provide a bit of that push. And even just for the laning stage, I know 2 melee doesn't feel that great, but they might be going for some sort of nightmare setup, and you can just use the board to be able to cancel that one out. So I think it wouldn't be.
I think 2 melee is okay as well with the Marcy.
Yeah.
Just because you
Here's
can,
the
like,
Radiant
that's
bag.
kind of one of the few
Drow
heroes that
Ranger.
is fine in kind of that style. And all right, we'll get the Drow Ranger. So this is a hero that is really starting to rise in popularity. And I think a big reason because of it is the meta heroes that are really strong at the moment. We don't actually have any in the draft, but like
10
Morphling, Shadow Fiend,
seconds.
Lestrak, Drow does very well versus these heroes. So
5 seconds
at the
remaining.
moment, we see this is a
Dyer's
great
ban
safe lane, an
now.
incredible safe lane. Undying with the Drow Ranger, a lot of kill threat here. You've got a person just to
Here's
put in
the
front of the
Radiant
Drow,
ban.
act as that body, and
Go and have a look at that and see how he plays it, what he likes to pick it against. Most of the time, it's these high
Dyer's
armor
ban
heroes, but maybe they were
now.
just wanting to up the tempo because of those reasons that I mentioned, right? The Nyx, the Bane. your predictions for lowest average deaths, you might be in a pretty decent spot because you only pick Drow when it's a great Drow game. And I think they're feeling like, look, if Storm Spirit jumps the Drow, they don't have any follow-up damage right now. So that's what they're looking to ban out. The Sniper who's able to deal damage from range, or the PA that's able to jump in with the Storm Spirit and hopefully try and burst her down.
Dire's turn.
See what the core is going to be. CK, Naga, some illusions. They even go for the Faceless Void. So let's see if Spirit can now continue to push the tempo. They've got a lineup that can really end the game early if they go for a position 3 on Collapse, very similar to the Beastmaster.
Collapse has been playing a little bit of OD, and I'm wondering if they're going to consider it against the Faceless Void here. It's a possibility. Maybe they're going to go just even more frontline, something like a Tide Hunter. Night Stalker instead. I like it. You know, this is one of the other things that I was mentioning about the vision that you're going to be able to grant by the Beastmaster. Doesn't give you quite as much of the pushing aspect, for sure, but it really does give you a way to be able to find the backlines, to be able to get the jump. It means that the Storm Spirit's forced to go into an early BKB. Same sort of thing with the Faceless Void. Otherwise, they're just going to get run down.
The hero that you've been asking for a lot, Denok. We haven't really gotten many Night Stalker games. I know both you and I are a very big fan of the hero. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel as strong at the moment unless it's a really specific game. And do you feel like this game 1 here against Thunder is a good enough game for the Night Stalker to have a lot of value?
I think it's good enough. You know, they're going to be playing Collapse together with Toronto Tokyo a fair amount, just specifically in that early game as Yasuo is still looking to farm up into his first couple of items. Just because they have no super strong defense if you're just able to get in on top of the right heroes. I'm sure Collapse, his main priority is going to be finding Pandamu on the Bane, right? Because if he's silenced, then there's nothing to stop that Rolling Thunder from coming through and just dismantling the team. Outside of the Chrono, I suppose, but then again, you're going to have an Undying there to save with the Soul Rip. You're going to have, you know, lots of other setups, and I just think if it gets late-ish, Thunder Awaken can look to deal with this. I think Team Spirit's draft is just a little bit too fast, and they have too few ways of being able to deal with constant lanes being pushed in.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And so I think late game, I'd be very comfortable with Thunder's lineup, but I'm just concerned it's not going to get to that stage where you've got a Drow Ranger that can help group up early on, the Night Stalker that's going to prove to be a really big issue for the supports and even the Storm Spirit's positioning. Really have a way to address the Pain Glaive, which is really going to prove to be an issue. I guess the Bane Fiend script, but the Night Stalker kind of nullifies that counter, whereas because Collapse is just going to go straight towards the Bane in the team fight. So I think Thunder, if they can somehow find a way to get towards the later stages, I'm happy with their draft, but I don't think Spirit are going to let them get to there.
Yeah, I remember when I was talking with Seb when we were at that Re-Out event, and Team Spirit were picking this Marcy Viper combo a lot, and he was like, man, why can't they just pick Collapse like this styling hero where he's able to just outplay people? And Night Stalker is one of them. You know, you could play around the tree lines. You could your ultimate, you know, dip in and out of team fights and make the big plays happen. I think he's a fantastic player on this hero. He was MVP almost every single time that they picked it in the games that I've seen. So I've got faith in him to be able to get a pretty good amount out of this game.
So if Thunder are going to get to the late game, what has to go right for them? And I suppose in particular, what lane really has to be a winning lane for Thunder to try and, you know, be able to get to that later stages where we feel like this draft might be enabled more?
See you later, nerds.
I think it's
See you later, nerds.
I don't think you need to get kills.
See you
I think you
later,
just
nerds.
need to try and enable as much experience as possible. Keeping your towers up. I think that's going to be the bigger issue. Just making sure that you've got plenty of room to play with, plenty of map to be able to farm, so that Hakaz is able to scale, so that Sacred's able to scale. It's going to require Duck Margo to play a little bit more of the sacrificial style for sure to enable that and create some of the chaos alongside Matthew and his Nyx Assassin.
I feel like a lot of that's going to be set up then off the back of the support rotations. Really has to start with the first 4 minutes though. If Thunder can get their lanes in a position where then the supports can start to rotate, be able to secure some of the power runes to enable the Storm Spirit. So, we'll hold that thought real quick. We got Pandamu and Poshka. Just you're trading some spells, some right clicks, just trying to be a nuisance. Looks like Panda's going to make the trip all the way back to base. So
don't worry, Maposhka's got the whole fruit market with him. 6 mangoes that he's holding on to right now. Very happily able to waddle back to lane. All of that passive regen, nearly 7 health regen. going to be just fine. Also, Decay's about to wear off as well, so you're just going to see what makes Undying so busted right now. Oh, just free HP. About to get another free, like, 60 HP as well.
Very cool hero. Very cool hero indeed is the Undying. Why do we feel like they have kind of swapped up the lanes, where you've got Mira playing up top with the Drow Ranger and then the Undying being down bottom?
Honestly, I think it's just, it would have been pretty similar regardless. Or Matthew, actually, maybe it just enables a little bit more kill potential like this. Drow wants that stun setup to be able to go for those early kills. Mira.
Oh, he might be in trouble though. Yutoro, they still get first blood, but Sacred just finds the level 2 at the same time. So with the use of the Maleficus, he will be able to catch up. Unfortunately, Sacred just a little bit too late to find the bonus gold from first blood, but at least they do kill off Yutoro.
See just why, right? The stun just enabling that setup. Yes, you get something in exchange for it, so I'm sure Yutoro is going to be talking about just needing to be a little bit more conscientious of making the kill attempt when the Eidolons aren't ready to split, because that was what caused the turnaround, plus that level 2, like you mentioned.
The Poshka. Funny stuff. Maybe this is another thing as well. Like, potentially a Marcy Night Stalker lane. Like, doesn't seem like you can really look to protect the Night Stalker because he's relatively weak in the lane. But the Undying, on the other hand, is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
So you buff up the Night Stalker a little bit. You still put the Marcy in a lane where there's going to be offering some kill threat. I kind of like the setup that we're seeing out of Spirit. And this is scary because, again, we said, like, this is a team, if they get off to a good start as top lane. Another kill picked up for Thunder. And we were saying that if Spirit get off to a good start, then this is a lineup that can get a lot of map control early.
Indeed, so the fact that Thunder are getting a decent time out of this top lane, Sacred, with one of his favorite heroes as well on the Enigma, showing why you look to emphasize it in that first phase, picking it up. That 8th pick. So, yeah, like, it's a tale of as old as time, right? The Night Stalker just on the bottom side. You know you're weak in the first 5 or so minutes. Perhaps even just holding on to multiple skill points just in case, but be able to put multiple into that Hunter in the night so that it's effective as quickly as possible. Going into a little bit more of that damage build, he wants to be able to burst down these targets when he gets on top of them with the crippling fear once we get into the stage where ultimates are available.
Bottom lane, Tombstone's going to be laid down. Thunder do a really good job to be able to switch their priority to try and deal with the building structure instead. So free gold for them to be picked up.
Job, in fact. They're getting much more out of this laning stage than I thought they would, especially considering how well Miposhka's been playing to be able to keep Pandamu out of the lane.
You get nothing.
We're mentioning as well that Dark Margot is going to be a really vital component here for Thunder if they are going to have that success, and it looks like he's having a really good lane matchup versus Toronto Tokyo. 26-4 compared to the 17-1. Not all good start's going to be the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, but it's going to be around securing those power runes for him, right? Enigma's gotten to the stage where he's ridiculously farmed. You just need to make sure you're influencing the lane so that he's in a safe place to farm when the Nyx Assassin needs to make that rotation, secure the 6-minute rune for himself, because he doesn't quite have that Ball Lightning just yet. As soon as he does, that's when you're going to try and enable him to make that rotation up onto the Drow Ranger.
Potentially going to come down to just who maybe gets a little bit more denies in this lane to find level 6 first. Top lane, we've got some trading going back and forth. Yutoro, a very early point up in the Gus. Going to be able to protect him for the moment, so they'll turn it back onto Matthew. The slows are starting to stack up, and the Nyx Assassin forces run into the tree line. There'll be no escaping down to the south. Lands a nice stun, but the arrow already came out beforehand, so another kill for Spirit in this top side of the map.
Yeah, Mira not being greedy as well, going for the right clicks, realizing that all he needs to do is give Yatoro the vision, not allow that pesky little Nyx Assassin to get away. He nearly did, but it was just that one extra right click that they needed.
We've got the nighttime now. Collapse. A lot of damage onto the Faceless Void, but the 1 health should be enough for Bakaz to get the time walk off very, very close. But we see just instantly what happens. As soon as it hits the nighttime, they start to get aggressive and put the pressure onto the Void.
Realizing as well that, you know, you can have those couple of points in the Hunter in the night, immediately go for the pressure.
Mid lane. Tokyo. The level 6 on Dark Margot. Yeah, he's gonna go for it. Zip under the tower. Why not try and secure the kill? And Mira will be too late with his TP rotation. Still gonna try and jump on forward. They don't have enough mana on Dark Margot to even get the Marcy
Nice job
kill as
aggroing
well.
the tower, though. Matthew making sure that Dark Margot wasn't the one being hit there. Oh, it would be poetic justice if the rune spawns bottom and it's a regen rune as well. So, a little bit too late with the rotation, but just in time to make sure that the Storm Spirit doesn't necessarily cause a big issue for this top side of the map.
So this is some beautiful plays coming out. A Tombstone was dropped from Aposhka down bottom to try and help with the tower siege and to protect the catapult, but Pandamoo just dragged the wave. So Spirit, what would have been a lot of damage onto the tower is completely nullified thanks to just that slight play from Pandamoo.
Dark Margot is going to go back to the mid lane, deal with the siege creep, or if they feel like they're in a position to want to get a kill onto Yatoro up top here. All the way back in base. All in 2 mines.
Already.
Yep. Actually on bottom instead.
Alright, onto Collapse. A lot of damage coming out early on with the Night Stalker. Plenty of mana as well for Dark Margot to continue the chase throughout the lane. And Maposhka just has to stand off to the side and watch as his core dies. And now he too, we put 6 feet under as Thunder makes some great movements. They get 2 down bottom and they also find a kill onto Mira up top. Now it does come at the cost of the Black Hole. So Seiku's first use of the ultimate for the game.
And a good amount of mana as well on Dark Margot. Of course, not playing with that power rune means that he's not instantly able to get back to the mid lane as quickly as he would have liked. You've also got...
Toro might be in trouble top. Zekra's got some Eidolons to play with. Matthew with the follow-up stung as well. Is going to try and get in front of the Drow Ranger if they need the body blocks. And now mid lane, Dark Margot. Oh, they toss him out of the Rolling Thunder.
Bring around the Rosie.
Around the ball. Miboshka's going to try and move over, but they're too late. They might be able to secure the tower at least, but a kill goes begging.
I mean, he hasn't been in this lane for 3 waves now, so this siege creep has survived for quite a long time. Really good individual movement from Toronto Tokyo to make sure that the aggro has been drawn onto him and the creeps instead. Yeah, it would have been great to be able to secure that kill on top of things. At least you open up the map a little bit now, and you're probably going to secure the power rune. Oh, never mind, Pandamoo just stealing it away right in front of Maposhka's face.
Yoink. That one is now mine, my good sir. Alright, well, we do have some ultimates soon to play with, because with the Chronosphere, do we want to see the Faceless Void leave this lane and try and get use of the Chrono before Team Spirit come bottom? Because it does seem like this is the next part of the map that Spirit want to be in.
I still feel like Collapse doesn't necessarily quite do enough damage. Like, he's got the ultimate ready to level up. He's even holding on to another point. No, it's not. But I feel like they might be able to TP people down and hold a lot of TPs on Thunder to make sure that you can look to protect.
Top lane. Here I am. The dive under the tower. Long zip in from Dark Margot, but the rotation's going to be too quick. Look at the response. And Toronto Tokyo lines up the Rolling Thunder. Can bounce back off the wall as well. They can keep Yatoro alive. This is going to be huge for Team Spirit as he's just almost able to limp away. They'll finally get the finishing blow, but it is such a grave cost for Thunder as multiple casualties come out from Radiant. Too deep of a dive for them.
Indeed. Still, again, able to make sure that Yatoro isn't having the greatest time, but such a super deep dive at this stage of the game when you don't have those key ultimates to be able to play around. You just see the impact of the Rolling Thunder connecting onto multiple, making sure that the Black Hole is not going to be a factor.
So pesky Eidolons, that finishing blow. See, if bottom lane Collapse is going to be a bit cautious because
the Chrono.
He's got Matthew nearby. Let's see if they're going to have the damage though. It's a really beefy Night Stalker. He's got some one charges to play with as well. Mira's going to try and provide some assistance. Collapse is actually going to look to man fight. No way they come out on top as Collapse.
The toggles
Eats the entire Chronosphere thanks to the toggles and now Thunder. A big ultimate on cooldown. They don't even get anything out of it.
You know what I said about outplaying? That's what I'm talking about right
That
there.
is one.
Middle tower can't handle this deluge.
Oh no. I mean, that is a big ultimate where you can potentially get a kill and slow down the Night Stalker. All of a sudden this lane, very vulnerable for them.
Toronto Tokyo just trying to roll a couple of times. Gets caught with the Black Hole, yeah, and multiple Eidolons hit into him as well. Nicely done by Sacred, having a fantastic game so far, even getting the double 1v2 turnaround.
Dire's top tower
as well.
needs
Collapse
some
gets another
bread.
kill as well. Dark Ascension used. So it looks like they will be able to secure this tower. Very nicely done. Some kills across the map. 10-7, 11 minutes in. A back and forth game we have.
They know there's not any rotations coming down towards this bottom side. They don't quite have vision of the Storm Spirit. He's making sure to play right on the range of that Night Stalker. When it turns to daytime, maybe now is when they look to make that move, and Matthews TP'd in to make it happen.
It's first time. Hero's going to be nearby to try and provide some assistance. Collapse just going to go for the straight TP out, and they won't have the damage. Enemy just a little bit too late with the smoke to be able to provide that stun to cancel the TP. They will try and wrap around and see if they can get something out of this though. Maybe a ward's going to be placed at the triangle to set up for a pickoff in the future. Then
Nice.
go for mirror under the tower. Reapers are coming through from Yatoro. Probably not going to be able to deal with the Storm Spirit. They'll go for the easier targeting Matthew instead. Pandamu is coming behind them. Yatoro might be in trouble, especially with Sacred TPing in. Gonna have to deal with the tree so they can scout his position, but it has given enough time for Team Spirit to react as well. And Toronto Tokyo is ready with the Rolling Thunder. Pandamu's in a position where he can counter this though. Fiends group out to the left side. Do they have the damage to be able to get the Pain Glaze life inside the ultimate? They're gonna turn to deal with the Undying instead. As now they can turn and deal with Toronto Tokyo. Dominating streak for Sacred. Pandamu, great position with the use of the ultimate to stop the Rolling Thunder and its trap.
And that was a 4v5 as well. Picard's just sitting up here on the top-hand side, farming away very, very happily, realizing that he needs that little bit of extra damage now if he's looking to try and take out people like the Night Stalker inside of the Chrono.
Top tower is
This
under attack.
aggressive zip into the triangle as well. The ward that they placed prior.
They're going to go for one
Should
more.
allow them to catch up to Mira. Now Pandamu with the wraparound. Also gets the Nightmare to hold Yatoro into place, and Thunder. What is a very even game a couple of minutes ago, but the net worth lead is starting to balloon up.
Going to attempt to protect this bottom side. Collapse is going to be the one that gets caught out here. Chronosphere at the ready. Will he look to go for it solo? Be able to get away in time. The amount of vision, and they can see that looking to try and wrap onto the rest of the team, but just a little bit of free experience coming through there for Collapse.
And you said it before though, look at Sacred's game. 8-1-3 on the Enigma. Holy hell, this guy's so far.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. He's pretty crazy, right? It's just one of those things that you need to be able to protect from, and some TIs, some people's favorite heroes just seem to come into the meta. I mean, you've seen me gush about Sacred's Pangolier, so even just to have that aspect to be able to give it to
Yatoro might be in trouble. The push on the higher ground, Tombstone laid down, and Thunder aren't going to continue to push up. So nice body guarding coming through from the Poshka. This goddamn Guild
Dire's
King.
bottom tower
I
is
keep
under
seeing as the
attack.
day goes on. Wherever the wards are placed, it's good ping. I like it.
Slux started it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. It was Beast Coast that was doing. I was trying to remember.
I know Yatra is a big fan of buying the Aghanim Shard on the Drow Ranger, and I wonder if he's going to do it this time around. Just with the old hypothermia, bit of regen reduction against Bane, even the Faceless Void to a lesser extent. Helps pop the Eidolons a little bit too.
Long zip in. They want the Drow Ranger, and they're going to be able to find her. Matthew with the wraparound ankle. Beautiful positioning coming through from the Nyx Assassin, and Dark Margot will instantly follow up with the damage required, and this can now open up the tier 1 tower.
Indeed, and that's a super early Wraith Pact as well, being picked up by Sacred. Looks like he's opting to go into the Aether Lens just to make